Right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining. Let's start our session. Now, I think we will be discussing. We have started, we started what is IAM, and we have gone through like how to create users, IAM users. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management, as you all know. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. We have seen like what is the purpose of learning this IAM service. So, for creating IAM users, the purpose of IAM learning IAM services to create IAM users and also to create IAM groups. I think we have already seen in the previous session itself, like how to create IAM users, how to create groups, how to assign permissions to the groups and all. So let's see some more practicals, like how can an IAM user logs in? I'm just trying to log into the AWS account. I'll show you like how a particular user can log in into the IAM account. Generally, you all know we will be having two accounts. Okay, this is the root account. Okay, I'm just logging by using a root account. You can see here I'm able to see my account ID. This is how the account ID displays for the root account. And once I have a root account, okay, once I have a root account, I can create IAM users inside the root account. So what is IAM? IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. We all know like the purpose of IAM is for creating IAM users. Suppose if a if a newcomer joins and he wants access to a particular service, usually how the access will be provided is by using IAM, Identity and Access Management. So this is IAM dashboard. So if we are new to the AWS cloud, then directly we can search here in the search bar like IAM so that I can able to find out, manage access to the AWS resources. We'll simply select IAM so that we will be going to the IAM dashboard. And on the left side, in this dashboard, in the left side, we have users, user groups, policies, roles, all these things we'll be discussing. Anyhow, we understood something in the previous session. We'll be understanding in a detailed way. Let's understand how we are going to create a users. I'm just trying to create a user, create a new user. For now, again, I'll be taking an example of, okay, I'm just taking an example of Venkat. I'll be creating an IAM account for Venkat. Okay, I'm creating an IAM user. The name of the user is Venkat. And I'm just selecting this one. I would like to provide console access. You know what is console access? So GUI, graphical user interface. I would like to provide console access to this user. That's why I'm selecting this one. And after selecting, so here I have two things. Whether I want to specify an identity center. For now, we are not going for it. For now, I would like to create an IAM user. Only I would like to create an IAM user. And here it is it is asking whether you want to customize the password or whether the auto-generated password is enough. So I'm selecting auto-generated password. If I select auto-generated password will be generated automatically once after the user is created. What I'm doing is I'm providing the username, selecting this one. I would like to provide user the management console, the AWS management console. So user can able to access the AWS cloud by using the console. I would like to create an IAM user. I'm selecting this option here. I'm selecting auto-generated password. Slowly I'm coming down. I don't want users must create a new password every time they sign in. So you understood this option, right? Every time they sign in, it will ask for generate a new password. So I don't want the users to be asked to create a new password at every sign in. Anyhow, it is recommended, but I am not selecting this. Okay. Anyhow, we are generating a password, and with the help of this password, users can log in. Okay. We'll be sending these details to the user through email or somehow we will share this detail so that the users can log in. For now, I'm creating a user and I would like to set up some permissions. You see, the second step is after providing the username and all, the second step is setting up the permissions. So, setting up the permissions, under setting up the permissions, we will select these attached policies directly. Select the attached policies directly. Why? Because I would like to attach some policy to the user. I'm creating a user. I would like to attach some policy to the user, which is called as permission, which is also a permission. What policies I would like to attach? For now, I am attaching AWS EC2 full access. Can you see here? Can we able to see EC2 full access? Otherwise, you can search here like EC2 full access. I'm selecting this particular one. Why? Because why I'm selecting this one is like we are aware of EC2 service. We can understand what is EC2 full access and what is EC2 read access. For now, I'm selecting EC2 full access. I'm going ahead and clicking on next button. Can you see? I'm just going ahead, selecting the new next button. I've attached the policies and I'm going for creating a user, review and create. The next step is review and create. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new user called Venkat. The password for this particular user will be generated automatically. And he don't need to reset the password, not required. Okay. Require password reset, not required. And we are assigning some permissions. I'm assigning some permissions to this user, which is called EC2 full access. Slowly coming down, I'm just creating an user. So user will be created now. Yes, user is created. And once the user is created, it is providing you the details. Like user can log in to this, user can log in to the AWS account by using these things. This is the URL, this is the username, and this is the password. Okay. I'd like to show you the password also. This is the username and this is the password. I'm just copying and pasting it. So why? Because why I'm copying and pasting all these details is like once I close this, maybe we cannot see the password and all later. Okay. So you can see here, you can view and download the user's password below, or otherwise you can email the user's instructions for signing into the console. And this is the only time you can view and download this password. Once I close this window, you understand? Once I close this window, we cannot see the details of this user. We cannot see the password of the user and all. Anyhow, username we can see. But to see the password and all, it is a one-time process. You can download even. We have an option here to download. You can download the CSV file. You know, the CSV is similar to our Excel sheet, like comma separated values. CSV stands for comma separated value. So your user details are downloaded in an Excel sheet. Okay, so you can, I have just downloaded the CSV file. I'm going back. See, once I go back and once I try to access this, I cannot see the password. That's the reason why it's very important to email this in the details. It's very important to send an email, or otherwise you can directly click on email sign in instruction. Just click on email so that it is directly asking email application will go directly open here. You can select you can select the email and you can send the details to the user. Okay, this is a one-time process. Okay, remember once this window is closed, we cannot see the credentials of the user. That's the reason why we are downloading it. Either we can download it in CSV format or we can send an email. That's it. So I'm coming back, returning to the users list. So only one user is created. Earlier, I have created some users. I have deleted them. In the previous session, I've created some users. I have deleted those users list, but now I have created only one user, which is Venkat. And if I just click on it, I click on the username, and if I want to see the credentials of this user, okay, if I want to see the credentials of this user, I cannot able to see. Just opening it, going for security credentials. Okay. You see here, it can show you the console link, the link which is used to sign in. And password is updated 2 minutes ago. Just now we have created a password. That's why it is showing like password is updated 2 minutes ago. Anyhow, we know the username. Username is this one, same thing. Username is this one. So how can Venkat can log into the AWS account? You need to understand Venkat is an IAM user now, and I have provided EC2 full access. Which policy I have attached to Venkat is EC2 full access. So how can Venkat log into the AWS account now? Okay, I'm just signing out from this. Before signing out, I need to copy this 12-digit account ID. So each and every owner account, each and every root account will have this account ID. Always remember, without this one, usually IAM users cannot log in. Just copy this for the safe side. I'm signing out here. So now how the IAM users can log in? Even IAM users will also go to the same website called aws.amazon.com. Yes, they will click on sign into the console or sign in button. And there they will find a different option called IAM user sign in. Where we are finding this IAM user sign in, you can see here. Downside, I have an option like sign in using root user email. Just click on and see here. This is how actually the page where it shows the sign in information for root user as well as IAM user. Okay, so this is the basic page. This is the first page. Okay, this is the home page where we need to see. If we are finding the root user, we can select the root user, or otherwise we can also select IAM user. Since for now, I would like to select the IAM user login. Okay, Venkat is now going to be logged as IAM user. Just assume that Venkat is going to log in as an IAM user. How he is going to log in? He will simply go to aws.amazon.com. He will simply select the sign in option. Directly, maybe he may not see this page, but he need to go to the sign in using root user email or something. Okay. So maybe he will see two different types of users here, root user, IAM user. He need to select the IAM user. Since he is not the root user, he need to select IAM user. He need to provide the 12-digit account ID. I've already copied it. Okay. Before I sign in from the root account, I've copied it, the 12-digit account ID. I'm just going for the next. And I need to provide the username here. Username is Venkat. Anyhow, we know this. We need a password. He needs a password to log in. This is the password. I have already saved it here. I told you once we close the window, we may not get the password. I'm closing this. Okay, I'm pasting the credentials over here. This is the 12-digit account ID. I am username, password. I'm just trying to sign in. That's it. That's it. Now the Venkat is signing into his IAM account. Can you see the difference here? Earlier, for my root account, it was showing only my 12-digit account ID. Now, if Venkat has logged in with his credentials, clearly it is showing the username is Venkat. He is an IAM user. This is how actually he see the window. This is how actually he can view the window. His username can be displayed here. The IAM username is Venkat. It is displaying particularly. The account ID is this one. IAM username is this one. Okay, so now one thing we need to understand very clearly, IAM user has logged in with his credentials. That is fine. Now we have provided only one policy. We have attached only one policy to this IAM user. What is that policy? Which policy we have attached to this IAM user, if you remember? Only EC to full access. Okay, we have attached only EC to full access. That's the reason why, even though Venkat login to this particular account by using his IAM credentials, Venkat can only perform operations only on EC2 service. Okay, let me show you. Venkat is trying to access EC2 service, and he is going to create one EC2 machine here. For now, anyhow, this was already created. Okay, this was already created. I would like to delete. Okay, Venkat is trying to delete this. Why? Because we have provided EC2 full access to him. He can able to see what are all the machines running here. He can able to delete. Let me show you whether he can able to delete the instance or not. Yes, he has successfully initiated the termination. Okay, he can able to delete the instances that are running even. He can able to delete. If he wants to create a new instance, he can simply click on launch. He can provide, he can give a, he can otherwise he can provide he can also create one more new server. Okay. And we all know these options, right? First, we need to provide some name and we need to select the operating system image. We need to select the instance type, key pair. Okay, key pair we are selecting and going ahead and creating an instance. Launching an instance. Try to understand who is launching this instance. I have logged in. Okay, you need to understand. We are just we just log in as an IAM user. Venkat is having these credentials. Assume that Venkat has logged in into this particular account and Venkat is creating an instance. Venkat also deleted one instance. Venkat is having full access on EC2 because as a root user, I have provided EC2 full access. I have attached EC2 full access policy to him while I created a user. Okay. Now let me show you one more very important thing. So he can able to create, right? He can able to create the server and let me show you. whether he can able to connect to this EC2 server or not. Yes, everything, every operation. If we are providing a particular user full access, if we are providing a full access to a particular user, he can able to perform all the operations. He can able to perform all the operations. He can perform read operation. He can able to delete the instances. He can able to connect with the instances. Anything he can provide. Okay, anything he can provide. Anything he can do on the EC2 instance. So he can able to create an instance. He can able to delete the instance. All the operations he can able to perform. Okay, but now let me show you. If he's trying to access a service called S3, okay, he's trying to access a service called S3, and he's going to create a new bucket. Okay, let me create a new bucket on B. I'm going for creating a new bucket. Can you see here, when he's opening a service called S3, what is the message that it is displaying here? You don't have permissions to list the buckets. You don't have permissions to list the buckets. So until your administrator has given the permissions like S3 list all my buckets action, then until then, Venkat cannot access. Venkat cannot able to access this one. And you see here, Venkat is not having any permissions to list the buckets now. Even though if we go ahead and create a new bucket, he cannot able to create a new bucket. So let me show you. Create a new bucket. He's trying to create a new bucket. And anyhow, we know, right? So this is the bucket which is created in Virginia, US East one. So I'm creating a bucket with the name called US East bucket. You can go ahead and create any name, okay? So bucket name should be unique. That's the reason I'm providing this name. ACLs enabling. I'm trying to create a bucket. That's it, okay? I'm trying to create a bucket. Meaning I in the sense like now I have logged in with the IAM user credentials. Now the IAM user is trying to create a bucket. When he's trying to create a bucket, let me show you what error it is showing. Failed to create a bucket because create bucket permission is required. He doesn't have create bucket permissions. That's the reason why he is unable to create a bucket. You got it right? He is unable to create a bucket because he doesn't have permissions. So how can I provide permissions to Venkat for S3 service also? Let me sign out. I cannot sign in both with root user and IAM user at a time. I got signed out. I'm logging. I'm trying to log in by using my root user credentials. So I'm trying to sign in with my root user email. Okay. I'm trying to log in by using my root user credentials. Now, what I'm doing is I'll go to the service called IAM. I have only one user now. Venkat is the user. I'll select the username. I want to provide permissions to Venkat now. What kind of permissions I would like to provide? I will go for add permissions, attach policies. So far, he is already having EC2 full access. Now I would like to provide S3 full access. I'm going to click on next, add permissions. That's it. One policy is added. If you want to see what are the other policies that he's having, just go to the users, click on the username. And can you see here, so far, how many policies we have attached to him? Permissions are defined by the policies attached to the user. Permissions are nothing but the policies attached to the user directly or through the groups. Anyhow, either you can attach the policies directly or you can also attach policies through the groups also. I'll show you later, okay? But for now, Venkat is having two kinds of policies attached. One is EC2 full access, other one is S3 full access. I would like to sign in. Before I sign in, I would like to copy this account ID and I would like to paste it over here because account ID is very much required for the IAM, okay? I'm signing out, okay? I'm signing out. I'm the root user. I have provided access to S3 full access to Venkat. Now Venkat is trying to sign in by his IAM credentials. He's trying to sign in by his IAM credentials. So now you can see here IAM user. I'm providing the 12-digit account ID. Username is Venkat. Password I've already saved here. We can copy and paste it. The same password. I'm going to sign it. That's it. When you say Venkat has logged in by his IAM credentials, you can see here, this is the example. Okay, this is the very important thing that you need to understand here. Account ID is this one, IAM user is Venkat. And now Venkat is going to access the S3 S3 service because I have already provided him the S3 access. Let he can able to view the buckets also. Can you see? Earlier he could not able to view the buckets. Okay, he could not able to see the buckets also. Now he can able to see the buckets. If he wants to create a new bucket also, he can able to create a new bucket. Okay, so let me create a new bucket called US East bucket, and random number I'm giving something. Going to unblock the public access. One second. So you can see here, I'm blocking the I'm unblocking the public access, acknowledging the settings. Usually these settings are required only for providing the public access. If you want to provide, if you want to provide public access to the objects that you are creating, then only all these settings are required. Otherwise, settings are not required. But I am just showing you like how whether Venkat is able to create an bucket, whether the Venkat is able to create a bucket or not in this particular account. Yes. Venkat has logged in by using his credentials, IAM user credentials, and is able to create a bucket. And we're able to see all the buckets that were created earlier and now. This is the new bucket that is created, and we can also view the buckets old. He can also view the old buckets that were already present. In the same way, okay. Hope you understood. So now, so far we have created only one user. So that user got logged in by his credentials, okay, and he can able to perform only two operations. He can perform all the operations on EC2 services, EC2 service. And Venkat can also perform all the operations on S3. Why? Because we have attached only those two policies to him. Why? Because only he is going to work on only those two areas. If he is having any requirement on the other areas, if he is going to work on any other services, if he is going to work on any other services, then I will be providing access to him on the other service also. Otherwise, access will be restricted. Access will not be provided. Access will not be provided to all the services to all the users. If I provide access to all the users, they may misuse. That's not a good thing. Okay. Always providing access to the authenticated users or otherwise correct users who are working on that particular service. That's a very good thing. This is how, those things we'll be managing here under a service called IAM, access management. All kind of accesses will be managed by a service called IAM, identity and access management. Hope you understood. Any questions? Any questions?
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah, Vamshi, what if we give only read access permission to the user? Can you show that also?
Sure. So let's create a new user. So let me go back. I'm just signing out from here. This is an IAM account. Okay. So now when this is an IAM account for the user Venkat. So he has logged in by his credentials. So now I'm going to sign out from here. I will be trying to log in by using my root user account. Okay. Just I'll select this one. I'm going for root user credentials. I'll be selecting this root user account, root user email ID. I'm trying to log in by using my password. So now I will be creating one more user and I will be providing only read access. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll be going for IAM dashboard. Under IAM dashboard, I'll be going for users. I'll be creating a new user. Okay. So I'm going to create a new user called Shailaja. Okay. I'm going to create a new user called Shailaja. I'm selecting this option, provide user access to the management console. I would like to create a new user. I'm selecting this one, auto-generated password. It's slowly coming down. I don't want this option to be checked. Why? Because I have already generating a password. User can log in by using this password. Okay. I'm going to create a user. before I create a user, I would like to attach the policies. I'm attaching the policies. So now I would like to attach a policy called S3 read access. Okay. I would like to provide only S3 read access. I'm selecting only S3 read access. I'm attaching only this policy. Okay. S3 read only access. Can you see? Amazon S3 read only access. This is the only policy that I'm attaching. I'm creating a user. User is created successfully. So you see here, these are the credentials that we need to save. Okay. I'm just saving the password, and I would like to, okay. These are the things. Only password is required. Password is enough. And at the same time, we need the 12-digit account ID. Anyhow, we're having the 12-digit account ID. I'm going to sign out from this account. Okay. I'm signing out from this account, from my root account. I'm signing out. I've created one more user. And I have provided S3 read-only access to that particular user called Silager. Okay. So now I'm trying to sign in to the console. Okay, now the IAM user is trying to sign in to the console by using the 12-digit IID. The username is iLedger. Password is already saved here. I'll copy the password and I'll paste it over there. Trying to sign in with her credentials. Okay. So now you can see here the difference. Account IAM user is Shailaja. Okay, this is the account ID. Now what I will do is I'll try to go for S3 service. I'm trying to access S3 service. Since I have provided S3 read-only access, Shailaja can view all the buckets that are present over here. Okay, Shailaja can view all the buckets that are present over here. But if she tries to access any of the bucket, and if she tries to tries to upload any of the objects into this bucket, okay, and you see, uh, let me. Yes. Consider we have objects, okay? We have objects here in the Sydney bucket, okay? Two objects are there. One is DevOps diagram, other one is Docker.jpg. Two objects are there in the Sydney bucket. And she's going to upload one more new object, okay? One more new object. She's selecting the file and going for selecting some, okay? Selecting some file, PDF file. She's opening it and she's trying to upload. Can you see here? Upload is failed. Do you know? I'll show you the reason why the upload is failed here. Okay. View the details below. She's trying to upload one more file into the bucket. Can you see why the upload is failed? The reason is because she doesn't have right access. She doesn't have right access. She doesn't have access to perform this operation on S3. When she's trying to upload a file into the S3 bucket, the upload is getting failed because she doesn't have access to upload the files. We have provided only S3 read-only access. She can able to view the buckets, and she can also view the objects that were present inside the bucket. That's it. She cannot perform any other operations. She cannot delete. She cannot upload. Okay. Even I'll show you. Then I'll show you. I'll go back. And when she's trying to delete this object, okay, selecting, this is how we delete, right? We'll select this particular object, delete. Let's click on delete and confirming the delete object. She failed to delete. See, whatever the operation that she is doing, when she is uploading the object, it is failing. When she is trying to delete the object, it is failing. Why? Because we have provided only S3 read-only access. Shailu, you understood, right? What is happening when we are providing only
Yes, yes.
read access. Okay, got it, right?
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
So that's how actually we will restrict the access to the users. If you want to provide read-only access, we can provide. And if we want to provide full access, we can provide. So that the difference between read-only and full access is full in the sense whatever the root user can perform, what operations the root user can perform. All the operations can be performed by that particular IAM user also, if you provide the full access. Okay. So if you provide the read-only access, he can perform only certain operations like viewing the buckets. Okay, able to see the buckets, view, he can able to view the objects, only those things he can able to. This is how actually we create IAM users, all those things. Okay. And we will also try to understand. So far what we have understood is, let me go to the IAM dashboard. I'm trying to log off from the service account. I'm going to sign in by using a root user credentials. I'm trying to sign in by using my root user credentials. Okay. Let me go to the IAM dashboard once again. In the IAM dashboard, so far you have seen, I have created only 2 users. Okay. I have 2 users. Venkat and Shailaja. Venkat is created 10 minutes ago. Shailaja, the user Shailaja is created. Okay. This particular user is created 4 minutes ago. And if you want to see what kind of permissions they have, if I open this part, if I select this particular user, and you can see here what kind of access she is having. You can see she's having only Amazon S3 read-only access. If you want to add another policies, how to add other policies? Just click on add permissions. Okay. Attach policies. Go for any other policies like Amazon EC2 full access or something like that. Select any of the policy, attach, add permissions. That's it. The policy is added. Policy is added either by see. Now I have created users and I am attaching the policies. We understood now how to create users, how to attach policies. At the same time, we can also create groups, user groups. You can select user groups. So far, we doesn't have any group. You can also create a group. So this group is going to work on EC2. Okay, this group is going to work or something like, okay. I would like to provide, IAM. This is an IAM group. Okay. Uh, Otherwise, I would like to provide a group called developers. Okay. I would like to create a group called developers. AWS developers. I am creating a group called AWS developers, and I can add both of them. I can add both of the users can be added to this particular group. Otherwise, initially you can create a group. Later also we can add users to the group. Okay. First I'm trying to create a new group called AWS developers. I'm coming down. So I would like to attach, if I would like to attach any policies to the group. Now I am not attaching policies to the user. I am creating a group. I'm attaching policies to the group. So what are the policies that I'm attaching? For example, I am selecting some policies like IAM related to the IAM. Okay. So I would like to provide IAM full access for this group. Okay. I would like to provide IAM full access to this particular group called AWS developers. I'm creating a new group. I have attached policy to the group now. Can you see? I have created a group. And what is the policy I have attached to this group? The policy is IAM full access. This is the policy I have attached to this group. Later, you can go to the users. You can select the users. You can add them to the group also. There will be some, I think we'll be having an option here. Select the user. Go to the group otherwise. You can add users from here. You can add users later also. Add users. Select the users and add the users. That's it. So can you guess now what are the permissions that I have provided to earlier? What are the permissions that I have provided to Venkat? See, I have provided EC2 full access, S3 full access to Venkat earlier. Now, since he was added to a particular group called AWS developers, what is the group name? He is added to a group called AWS developers. That's the reason why he got one more access, which is the what is that? It is called as IAM full access. So these two access I have attached directly. Is Amazon EC2 full access, S3 full access I have attached directly. These two policies I have attached directly. And he got one more policy now, which is called IAM full access. And he got it by the group name. He got it after adding him to the group called AWS developers. Why? Because the group itself is having some policies attached. The group is attached with a policies called IAM full access. Whenever a person is added to this particular group, by default, he will also get that particular policy attached. Got it? How can we create an individual users? How can we create a group? And how can we attach users to the group? How can we attach policies to the group? All these things we have understood. So we also need to understand what is the role and how actually the roles can be attached. So there is a difference between, so far we have understood users, policies, attaching policies to the users, groups, attaching policies to the groups, all these things. And there is another concept called role. We need to understand this role concept. Before we understand this role, we can understand easily, before we understand the roles concept, we can understand easily how can a user connects to the AWS account by using CLI. So we are now performing all these operations by using graphical user interface, right? This is the graphical user interface. I am going to the IAM dashboard. I can able to see how many number of users I've created, how many number of user groups I'm having, what are the roles I've been so far created, what are the policies I'm having. All the information I can able to see from the console, from the user interface, this one, okay? I'm able to see all these things at the dashboard, user interface, all this. I can also connect to the IAM. I can also connect to the AWS account by using CLI, command line interface. I told you, right? We can connect to the AWS account by using CLI. CLI stands for command line interface. How can we connect? So what I will do is I'm just opening a command prompt. Okay. I'm just trying to open a command prompt. And here by using the commands, I'll try to log in to the AWS account. So if you want to connect to the AWS account by using commands, if anyone wants to connect to the AWS account by using commands, by using AWS CLI, CLI stands for command line interface. So they need to install a package. Okay, they need to install a software which is called AWS CLI. Go to the Google and search for AWS CLI. AWS CLI is a package which they need to install in their local machines. So just go ahead and search for, yes, this is the documentation. We have an AWS documentation, right? It is clearly showing set up the AWS command line interface. Select that one. And here, if you slowly come down, you can also see, uh, otherwise, one second. AWS CLI download, you can select like AWS CLI download. You'll see the very first link like installing or updating the latest version. Go for it. Go for the AWS documentation. And it is clearly showing, okay, once you go to the AWS documentation, it is clearly showing AWS CLI install and update. Since we are using Windows operating system, we'll select Windows. Slowly come down. You'll directly download and run this AWS CLI installer for Windows. This is the very first link, okay? Just click on the link so that the package will be downloaded. Two times I have selected. That's why it is downloading two times. So you need to download this AWS CLI package. Go to the downloads. What you need to do is you just need to give a double click on it. Okay, I've already installed this one. You just need to give a double click on it and click on next to install this AWS CLI. That's it, AWS CLI. You need to install AWS CLI if you want to connect. Okay. If you want to connect to the AWS account by using CLI, you need to install a package called AWS CLI. I'm clearly showing you from where you need to get that package. You need to go to the Google. Just search like AWS CLI download, AWS CLI download. It will direct you to the very first link like Amazon AWS documentation. Just open that one. And you can also see here, Windows, you need to select Windows operating system. And very first step, download and run the AWS CLI. Just click on the link so that the file will be downloaded. Just click on it. File will be downloaded. This is the file, AWS CLI file. Open it. Okay, go to that downloads folder. Just give a double click on it so that it will ask you to install. Just to proceed with the installation. I have already installed it. I don't want to remove and I don't want to install again. I don't want to uninstall and I don't want to go for the process again. It is a very easy thing. You can just give a double click on it. Why? Because it will take some time. It will take some 5 minutes for installing this AWS CLI. You need to wait for 5 minutes until the AWS CLI gets installed. So once the AWS CLI is installed, okay, you can open the command prompt. You know how to open command prompt, right? So go to the search bar and open the command prompt, CMD command prompt. Just open the command prompt and you need to run a command called AWS configure. This is the first command that you need to run. That's it. How we are going to connect to the AWS account from the command line? you have to run a command called AWS configure. So this one you have to try after installing the package called AWS CLI. Okay. So once you download and install that AWS CLI, you can run AWS. Okay. You can run the AWS. Otherwise, you can run AWS version, something like that. AWS CLI version. Can you see here AWS CLI version is clearly showing. AWS CLI version is clearly showing. It is clearly showing AWS CLI version. Got it right? We have downloaded and installed this AWS CLI. This is the version it is clearly displaying. To see the version, you can give a command like AWS space hyphen version so that you can see AWS CLI is installed or not. Once AWS CLI is installed, you need to run a command called AWS configure. AWS configure is the standard command. AWS space configure. This is the standard command that you need to use for connecting to the account. Yes, once after giving AWS configure, it is asking for access key. It will ask you for access key. So if you are the root user, okay, if you are the root user, how can you provide? You need to provide access key and secret access key. Where the access key and secret access key you will find. I'm going back to the account here at your profile. Go to security credentials. Go to the security credentials. Slowly come down. You will see access key ID. So this was created 1 hour ago. I would like to delete this one and I will show you how actually we can create access keys. First, we need to go for deactivating this one. So I don't have access keys for now. So where I'm going for this access keys, go to the profile. You can able to see security credentials. Just click on security credentials. Okay, usually the security credentials will also comes under IAM only. Under IAM, you'll see the security credentials. Slowly come down. You'll find access keys. Click on create access key. Continue. And you see here it is providing both access key and secret access key. Once you close this window, you won't be able to see these things. So copy this and paste it somewhere for the usage. Once you close this, you'll lose the access keys. Okay, you will lose the secret access. Secret access key won't be displayed once you close it. Okay, I'm closing it. I'm going back again. Security credentials. I'm going back here and see access keys. Yes, this is the access key that is generated. Now only we have created. I'm selecting it and I don't find anything related to the secret access key. I lost the secret access key. You need to download it or otherwise you need to save it somewhere once you create, immediately after creating. So now I have access key and secret access key, right? I've pasted it over here. Select the access key and go to the command prompt, provide the access key here. And you also need to provide, it is asking for the secret access key also. Provide the secret access key. I have provided access key and secret access key. It is asking whether the default region, in which region you want to select. It is clearly showing the default region is AP South 1. Okay, if you want to switch to any other region, you can provide the region code. Suppose if you want to switch to US East 1, you can provide US East 1 so that you will be switching to the other region. But if you don't give any region name here, by default, it will take AP South 1 only. Default output format, you will select by default. No need to provide anything. That's it. You got connected to the AWS account now. You got connected to the AWS account. This is the only command you need to run. After installing AWS CLI package, you need to run this command called AWS configure and it will ask you for access keys, AWS access key ID and secret access key. We have provided both of them. And region by default, it will select AP South 1. If you want to provide any other, if you want to switch to any other region, you can provide and you can click enter. So for now, if I want to, how can we verify whether I got connected to the account or not? I can simply run a command called AWS S3LS. I'm simply running a command called AWS S3LS. You know what is this command? From where I'm getting this command? From where I have learned this command? So this is the command AWS S3LS. Usually, the purpose of ls command is it will display the list of buckets. ls is mainly to display the list of things that were created. Okay. So AWS S3 ls, this command will give you the list of objects, will display you the list of objects. Got it? So if you want to know more commands, we don't know, right? We don't know about AWS commands and all. If you want to know more commands, you don't need to worry about it. So we will go to we'll go to the Google and search like AWS S3 commands, AWS S3 commands, and there will be a cheat sheet. You can go to any of the particular documentation. Okay, that's not a problem. You can go to the AWS S3 documentation. Here, they'll explain you very clearly the purpose of each and every command and all. Yes, you can see here what are the available commands. We have a command called cp. We have a command called ls. Okay, there are some commands like AWS S3 ls. When you see here, what is AWS S3 ls? It will display you the list of buckets. And if you want to display the objects, okay, if you want to see the objects that are present inside a bucket, this is the command AWS S3 ls. Okay, AWS S3 ls S3 colon // I would like to display the objects present in the Sydney bucket. I would like to provide the name of the Sydney bucket here. This is the syntax. Okay, we must follow the syntax correctly. I would like to see the objects present in the Sydney bucket. The command is AWS S3 ls S3 colon // Sydney bucket 48796. This is the name of the bucket. Okay, this is the name of the bucket. AWS S3 is the AWS S3 the service name. LS stands for to list out. S3 colon. Okay, this is the syntax we provide to understand the bucket name so that it will display the list of objects. Okay. And I don't know if any objects are present inside the Mumbai bucket. I don't know, but let me give you the Mumbai bucket also and show you whether it has any objects in the Mumbai bucket or not. Okay. I don't know whether I have deleted the objects or not, but I'm just copying the bucket name and providing it over here. If there are no objects, it won't display anything. Since I don't have any objects in the Mumbai bucket, it won't display. If it is not displaying anything, meaning is there are no objects. Hope you understood, right? How we are connecting to the AWS account and how we are accessing AWS by using commands. And if you want these commands and all, you can go to the AWS documentation. Okay. What I'm searching here, AWS documentation. There is a cheat sheet also. You can also go to the commands cheat sheet. Suppose, for example, I would like to search for AWS IAM. Okay, AWS IAM commands. I'm searching for AWS IAM commands. Go for, yeah, I'm going for this one. So most of the times I request you to go, I recommended way is like you can go to the official, okay, you can go to the official website. This is the official website, docs.aws.amazon.com. From here only, you will be finding all these things. But there are some other websites also where you can find, okay, where you can find the commands. So now you see here to create a new user. This is the command which is used to create a new user. AWS IAM, create user, hyphen username. Okay, some different user I would like to create. So I would like to create a new user for now. So if I want to run this, if I run this command, can you see here? I'm removing this name. I would like to provide some different name. Okay. I would like to provide some different name. I would like to provide a name called, okay, Keshav. Let me show you. I would like to provide a name called Keshav. I would like to create a new user called Keshav. AWS IAM create user hyphen username Keshav. So username will be created. IAM user will be created. Yes. IAM user is created. It is clearly displaying. IAM user is created. How to know the list of users so far? If I want to know the list of users available so far, I can select this IAM, AWS IAM list users. You can also see the list of users so far created. Can you see the list of users? Keshav is one user. Earlier, Shailaja and Venkat. These, okay, there are other two users, okay. So totally I have three users. It is displaying all the three users information. I can able to connect to the AWS account by using commands, and I can able to view the user's name. I can create a new user. I've shown you right how to create a new user. This is the command I'm using to create a new user. If I would like to create a new bucket, if I would like to create a new bucket, how to create a new bucket? I'm going for second. If I would like to create a new user, okay. So what I'm doing is AWS S3 commands. If I would like to create a new user, you can see here in the documentation, you need to search, okay? You need to search. Make bucket, MB stands for make bucket. Okay, MB stands for make bucket. I would like to create a new bucket. For that, I'm searching for a command. So how to create a bucket? The following command is used to create a bucket. So AWS S3 make bucket. I'm copying this command and you need to run this. Sorry. AWS S3 MB stands for make bucket. Okay. S3 colon space S3 colon slash slash. You need to provide the bucket name now. S3 colon slash slash. This is the syntax you need to follow, and you can provide the bucket name. Bucket name is like I'm going to create a new bucket called Singapore. I'm just creating a new name, okay? Singapore bucket to make show you the difference. So it is nothing but like this bucket is going and creating in Singapore region, not like that. So, but I'm giving the name like Singapore bucket, AWS S3 MB, Singapore bucket. So S3 is not recognized as maybe some issue with the command. I will use this name. I'm providing some name of the bucket as Singapore bucket. I'm using some random number here. I'm just doing enter. You can see now the bucket is created. Okay, AWS S3 MB, and this is the name of the bucket I would like to create. How to see what are all the buckets I've created so far? AWS S3 LS. Very simple. So if you keep on using the commands, you will also get familiar with the commands. AWS S3 LS. I can able to view the commands like this. So if you want to create a new object, if you want to upload a new object into the bucket, yes, you can also upload. For that, you need to search for the command. Okay, if you want to upload, if you want to copy any files, or if you want to delete any RB, you will find a command called RB. RB stands for remove bucket. RB stands for remove bucket. If I would like to delete any of the bucket, I will use this particular command. AWS S3 RB. Bucket name I need to provide here. I don't want this US East bucket, and this US East bucket doesn't have any objects created, but I want to delete this bucket. You see, I'm deleting a bucket called US East bucket, and you can run again S3LS. It will display only these three buckets are available. Hope you are able to understand how can we connect to the AWS account by using the commands, and how can we run the commands, all these things. If any questions you have, we'll discuss. Otherwise, we'll continue this tomorrow. Any questions you have? Yes, thank you. If you don't have any questions, please practice. We will